Sometimes life doesn't give you what you want right away, not because you don't deserve it, but because you're not quite ready for it yet. I've come to understand that timing isn't just about clocks or calendars. It's about preparation. It's about alignment. The right person, the right moment, the right version of yourself, it all has to sync. And when it does, it feels almost divine. There were times I questioned that. Times I thought maybe love just wasn't written for me, or maybe I'd missed my chance. But I've learned that love doesn't work on our schedules. It's not like building a company or launching a rocket. There's no precise countdown, no guaranteed launch window. It's unpredictable, and that's what makes it powerful. Real love takes patience, and patience is one of the hardest things to master in a world that worships speed. We live in a time where everything is instant messaging, instant food, instant validation. But love isn't instant. It brews slowly, like something sacred. And I've realized that waiting doesn't mean doing nothing. Waiting means working on yourself, on your purpose, on your peace. It means preparing your heart to recognize something real when it finally arrives. Because if you rush the process, you might end up meeting the right person at the wrong time. And that's one of the quietest tragedies there is. For a long time, I thought waiting was weakness. That maybe if I wanted something bad enough, I could force it into existence. But the truth is, forcing love before its time is like trying to make a flower bloom in winter. It won't last. The universe, or maybe something greater, has a way of holding back what's meant for us until we can handle it. That realization changed everything for me. I began to focus less on searching for her and more on becoming him. The kind of man who could protect peace, handle vulnerability, and value connection over convenience. That's when the waiting stopped feeling like punishment and started feeling like preparation. Every failed relationship, every disappointment, every lonely night, it wasn't wasted time. It was training. It was teaching me empathy, patience, gratitude. It was teaching me to love better. And here's the truth that took me years to understand. If you meet your future too early, you might not recognize it. You might be too busy carrying old wounds, too distracted by past expectations, too unready to appreciate what's in front of you. The beauty of waiting is that it refines your vision. You begin to see love not as possession but as partnership, not as a fairy tale but as something real. Two imperfect people choosing each other every day, not because they have to, but because they want to. When you wait with faith instead of fear, something inside you changes. You stop asking, why hasn't it happened yet? And start saying, when it does, I'll be ready. And that shift, just that one shift, changes the entire story. It turns impatience into peace, and uncertainty into anticipation. Because deep down you start to trust that what's meant for you is moving toward you too. Maybe not on your timeline, but on the right one. And when that moment finally comes, when you look into the eyes of the person who feels like home, you'll understand why it had to take time. You'll understand why every closed door, every heartbreak, every lonely night was leading you here. Because love that's rushed burns fast and fades quick, but love that's built through waiting, it lasts. So I'm not in a hurry anymore. I'm learning to let time do its work. I'm learning to trust that what's meant for me won't pass me by, and that somewhere out there, she's being prepared too. And when we finally meet, we'll both know it wasn't luck, it was timing. Because the truth is, the universe doesn't make mistakes. It just takes its time. I used to think finding the right person was the goal. That somehow love would fix everything. That it would fill the gaps, calm the chaos, and make the world make sense. But over time, I learned something far more powerful. Before you can meet the right person, you have to become the right one. You have to do the work that no one sees, the kind that builds character, not just confidence. There's this illusion that love completes you, but love doesn't complete you. It complements you. If you walk into a relationship hoping someone will fix the cracks inside you, you end up handing them pieces they were never meant to carry. You make them responsible for your healing, for your happiness, for your identity, and that's too heavy for anyone. I learned that the hard way. I learned that no relationship can thrive if it's built on emptiness. You can't pour from an empty cup. And you can't love from a broken foundation. So I started asking myself the harder questions. What kind of man am I becoming? How do I handle pressure, failure, success, and solitude? Do I make the people around me better? Or do I drain their energy? Am I disciplined? Or do I let emotions run the show? Those are the questions that build a man, not his achievements or possessions. Because truthfully, the kind of woman worth waiting for isn't looking for someone perfect. She's looking for someone self-aware, emotionally steady, and grounded in purpose. And here's what I discovered. Becoming that man takes intentional effort. It's not glamorous. It's not something you can post online or show off. It's quiet, internal work. It's holding yourself accountable when no one's watching. It's showing respect to people who can't offer you anything in return. It's being kind even when you're tired. It's learning to sit with discomfort without running to distractions. That's the work that builds the kind of man who can sustain real love. I realized I had to unlearn certain things too. The idea that vulnerability equals weakness, that emotions should be buried, that control is strength. True strength isn't about suppressing emotions. It's about mastering them. It's about being calm in chaos, steady in storms, and soft enough to be gentle when the world tells you to be hard. That balance between power and peace, that's what makes a man worthy of the kind of woman who brings depth, not drama. And you know what's interesting? The more I grew, the less I felt the need to chase. When you become the right version of yourself, you start attracting people who match your energy instead of your insecurities. You stop settling for temporary comfort and start valuing meaningful connection. You stop confusing attention with affection. And when that shift happens, love stops being something you search for. It becomes something that finds you when you're ready. Becoming the right man isn't about being perfect. It's about being accountable. It's about knowing your flaws and working on them daily. It's about being willing to apologize, to listen, to adapt, to evolve. It's understanding that leadership in love isn't about control. It's about consistency. It's about showing up even when it's inconvenient. Because the right woman doesn't need you to impress her. She needs to feel safe with you. Safe to be herself, to dream, to grow, to rest. And that safety comes from your maturity, not your money. Every mistake I've made, every lesson I've learned, it's all been part of that process. Because you can't build a future with someone if you haven't built a foundation within yourself. You can't promise to protect someone's peace if you haven't made peace with who you are. And you can't give unconditional love if you still carry conditions for yourself. So now, I'm not focused on finding her. I'm focused on preparing for her. Because one day she'll walk into my life, and I'll recognize her not by her looks, but by the way her soul feels familiar, like the one I've been growing for all along. And when that day comes, I want to be ready. Not perfect, not finished, just ready. Because the truth is, the right man doesn't find the right woman by luck. He meets her by becoming the kind of man who deserves her. Love, at its core, isn't complicated. We make it complicated because we bring our egos, our fears, and our expectations into something that was meant to be simple. When you strip away the noise, love is built on three things: respect, communication, and understanding. Everything else, passion, chemistry, attraction, those are just byproducts. They fade if the foundation isn't strong. But when there's respect, communication, and understanding, love doesn't just survive, it grows. Respect is the starting point. It's not about admiration or agreement. It's about value. When you truly respect someone, you value their presence, their opinions, their emotions. You don't belittle them when they disagree or use silence as punishment. You recognize that love is not ownership, it's partnership. Respect means seeing your partner not as an extension of you, but as a complete person with their own dreams, boundaries, and voice. And that kind of respect doesn't come naturally, it's learned. It's practiced. It's built through patience and humility. I've learned that communication is not just about talking, it's about listening. Most people listen to respond, very few listen to understand. And that difference determines whether love deepens or dissolves. Communication in a healthy relationship isn't about being right. It's about staying connected. It's saying, I may not understand what you're feeling yet, but it's not walking away in silence or shouting to win an argument. It's choosing, again and again, to keep the conversation alive. Because love can survive distance, mistakes, even time, but it can't survive silence. Understanding that that's where real love matures. Understanding is deeper than agreement. It's empathy in motion. It's being able to step outside your own perspective long enough to see through the eyes of the person you love. It's realizing that sometimes they don't need you to fix their problems. They just need to know you're there. And that's hard, especially when you're used to solving things, to taking action. But love isn't a project you can engineer. It's a connection you nurture. I've found that love built on respect, communication, and understanding feels different. It feels calm. It doesn't need constant reassurance, because trust is woven into every word, every action. It's not a love that exhausts you. It restores you. And I think that's what most people are really searching for. Not fireworks that fade, but a steady flame that burns with purpose. There's something beautiful about two people choosing to understand each other in a world that thrives on misunderstanding. It's rare, it's powerful, and it takes work. Because love isn't self-sustaining, it's maintained. It requires effort, daily. It's choosing to talk things through when walking away would be easier. It's choosing to be kind, even when you're angry. It's understanding that sometimes love isn't about who's right, it's about what's right for the relationship. And that kind of love doesn't happen by accident. It's built by two people who refuse to give up when things get hard, who see conflict not as the end, but as an opportunity to grow closer, who understand that a disagreement doesn't mean disconnection. It means there's something new to learn about each other. When you have that level of maturity, love becomes a safe place, not a battlefield. I want to build something like that. A love where respect is non-negotiable, where communication is open, and understanding is the default, not the exception. A love where both people can grow without fear of being left behind. A love that isn't threatened by independence, but inspired by it. Because real love doesn't clip your wings. It teaches you how to fly together. In the end, love isn't about finding someone who agrees with you all the time or never makes mistakes. It's about finding someone who's willing to learn with you, listen to you, and respect you through it all. And when two people commit to that kind of connection, when they build it brick by brick with honesty, empathy, and care, there's nothing stronger, nothing more lasting, and nothing more worth protecting. Because the truth is, love without respect crumbles, love without communication breaks, and love without understanding fades. But when all three exist together, it becomes unshakable. When I think about love, I think about responsibility, not the kind that weighs you down, but the kind that makes you rise. Love isn't just about finding someone who makes you happy. It's about becoming someone who protects their peace. Too often, people chase excitement, the thrill, the butterflies. But the truth is, what really matters is peace. Peace is rare. Peace is sacred. And when you find someone who carries that kind of peace within them, you don't disturb it. You guard it. Protecting her heart doesn't mean shielding her from the world. It means making sure you're not the source of her pain. It means being someone who brings calm to her storms, not chaos to her calm. I've learned that strength isn't about dominance. It's about discipline. It's about the ability to stay grounded when emotions are high, to choose kindness when ego wants control, to create safety in moments when misunderstanding tries to divide you. There's something powerful about being a man who values emotional safety. The world tells us that women want confidence, power, success. And yes, those things have their place. But what they truly crave, what they truly need, is safety. Not just physical safety, but emotional security. The kind of safety that says, you can be yourself here. You can be soft here. You don't have to fight to be heard. That's the kind of love I want to give. Because when a woman feels safe, she blooms. Her laughter comes easier, her energy becomes lighter, and her love flows naturally. But that only happens when she knows she won't be judged for her emotions or dismissed for her vulnerability. Protecting her peace is about being present, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. It's about listening without trying to fix everything, understanding that sometimes silence and support speak louder than solutions. I used to think love was proven through grand gestures, the big surprises, the long messages, the romantic moments. But now I see that love shows up in the small acts of consistency. It's the way you speak when you're angry, the way you handle her trust when she's vulnerable, the way you show restraint when pride tempts you to lash out. Those moments define the kind of man you are, because anyone can love when it's easy, but protecting her heart is about how you love when it's not. And here's what I've realized: peace doesn't mean perfection. You'll argue. You'll misunderstand each other. You'll face challenges that test your patience. But protecting her peace means choosing to fight the problem, not the person. It means remembering that your words have power to heal or to harm, and choosing them carefully. It's realizing that you can win an argument and still lose her sense of safety. That's a trade no real man should ever make. There's also a quiet kind of strength in knowing when to step back, when to listen, when to let her lead. Love isn't about control. It's about cooperation. It's about learning the rhythm of her emotions, the pace of her thoughts, and adjusting your energy to create balance. That doesn't make you less of a man. It makes you wise enough to understand that love is not a competition. It's a collaboration. I think the highest form of love is peace, not the absence of noise, but the presence of harmony. It's two people who know how to protect each other's hearts, even when they disagree. It's a relationship where you both can breathe, where love doesn't feel like walking on eggshells, but like coming home. That's what I want. To be the kind of man who doesn't just say, "I love you," but proves it in the way I care for her peace. I want her to feel that with me. She never has to question her worth, never has to guard her emotions, never has to wonder if she's safe. Because real love doesn't test you. It shelters you. And when I finally meet her, I don't want to be her escape from the world. I want to be her calm within it. Because the greatest way to love someone isn't to give them everything they ask for. It's to protect the peace they already have. When I think about love, I don't just think about moments. I think about momentum. Because love, if it's real, isn't something you just feel. It's something you build. It's not about being in a relationship that looks good from the outside. It's about creating a future that feels right from the inside. Too many people chase the feeling of connection, but forget the foundation that sustains it. I don't want a relationship that only exists in good times. I want a partnership that endures through all times. Building a future means seeing beyond the now. It's about aligning visions, values, and purpose. It's asking deeper questions. Where are we going? What do we want to create together? How do we grow, not just individually, but as a unit? Because love without direction eventually drifts. Passion without purpose burns out. I want something that lasts, not because it's perfect, but because it's built with intention. Every strong structure requires planning. You don't just start stacking bricks and hope it becomes a house. You design it. You consider the foundation, the weather, the materials. You prepare for storms before they come. That's how I see relationships too. I want to build something that can withstand pressure, because there will be pressure. There will be setbacks, challenges, and moments of doubt. But if the foundation is solid, built on trust, communication, and shared goals, it won't collapse. I've realized that love isn't about escaping reality. It's about facing it together. It's two people saying, "We'll take on the world side by side." That's the kind of partnership that moves mountains. The kind that builds legacies, not just memories. And that's what I want, a love with vision. A relationship where we dream big, but also do the work to make those dreams happen. Because real love is practical. It's about accountability. It's budgeting together, planning together, failing together, and still choosing to move forward. It's about having tough conversations about the future, about finances, family, faith, goals, and facing them with maturity instead of avoidance. That's how you turn emotion into evolution. Love isn't meant to make you comfortable. It's meant to make you grow. I want a relationship where we challenge each other to become better, not bitter. Where her success feels like mine, and mine feels like hers. Where we both understand that love is not a finish line. It's a launch pad. Because when two people are aligned in purpose, they don't compete, they collaborate, they build something greater than themselves. And let's be honest, building a future with someone takes effort. It's not glamorous. It's late night talks about what's next, small sacrifices that don't get noticed, patience when progress feels slow. But those moments, those quiet sacrifices are what make the love real. Anyone can fall in love. Not everyone can build with love. Falling is easy. Building takes vision, consistency, and faith. I've also learned that love and ambition can coexist. You don't have to choose between having a dream and having a partner, if you choose the right one. The right person doesn't slow you down, they help you see farther. They don't compete with your focus, they expand it. Together, you create something more powerful than either of you could alone. That's what I want. To build with someone who shares the same hunger for life, the same desire for purpose. Someone who understands that love isn't just about comfort. It's about contribution. We're not here just to say, we made it. We're here to say, we built it. A love that doesn't just talk about forever but plans for it. Because in the end, relationships fade when they stop growing. But when two people build something that serves a vision larger than themselves, when their love has direction and depth, it becomes unstoppable. It becomes more than romance, it becomes legacy. So when I think about my future wife, I don't just picture candlelit dinners or perfect photos. I picture late nights brainstorming dreams, early mornings chasing purpose, and a lifetime of building, brick by brick, with trust, faith, and love as our tools. Because the goal isn't just to fall in love. The goal is to build something that outlasts us both. If I could speak directly to her right now, to the woman who will one day hold my heart, I think I'd start by saying thank you. Not because we've met, but because I know you're out there, somewhere, living your life, growing through your own challenges, learning the lessons that will one day lead you to me. I want you to know that even in this moment, before I've heard your voice or seen your smile, I'm grateful for your existence. There are nights when I think about you, not in a way that aches, but in a way that motivates me. You've become the invisible reason behind the man I'm becoming. Every time I push myself to be more patient, more grounded, more compassionate, it's partly because I want to be ready for you. I don't want to meet you as the version of me that's still figuring things out. I want to meet you as a man who's done the work, who knows how to love without fear, and who can give you peace without condition. I know you're out there living your own story, and maybe it hasn't been easy. Maybe you've been hurt before, trusted the wrong people, or doubted if love like this still exists. Maybe you've wondered if someone will ever see you, not just your beauty or your strength, but your soul. If that's you, I need you to know something. I see you already. I see the parts of you that the world may have overlooked. And I want to tell you that you're not too much, and you're not too little. You're exactly enough, exactly as you are. I don't expect perfection. I don't want perfection. I just want honesty. I want the kind of love where we can both show up as we are, raw, real, and unfiltered. The kind of love that feels safe enough to be messy, where we can cry, laugh, fail, and still choose each other anyway. I don't want us to pretend we're unbreakable. I want us to be unshakable. And there's a difference. One hides the cracks. The other strengthens them together. When I finally meet you, I want you to know that I've prayed for you. Not in a religious sense, but in the way that someone prays for peace. Quietly, constantly, intentionally. I've prayed for your strength to never run out, for your faith to never fade, and for your heart to stay open even when the world gives you reasons to close it. Because I know when we find each other, I'll be stepping into a love that's already been protected by patience and shaped by grace. I imagine the day we meet won't be cinematic. It won't need to be. It'll just feel right, like the moment you exhale after holding your breath for too long. Like we've been walking parallel paths, and suddenly they merge. It won't be perfect timing, it'll be the right timing. And when it happens, everything will make sense. The waiting, the growing, the silence. All of it will have been preparing us for that moment. I don't know your name yet. I don't know what your laugh sounds like, or how your eyes light up when you're passionate about something. But I know this, I will recognize your soul the moment I feel it. Because souls don't need introductions, they remember. And when they do, there's this quiet certainty that says, it's you. It's always been you. So wherever you are, I want you to keep living fully. Keep becoming everything you're meant to be. Don't wait for me. Grow for yourself. I'm doing the same. And when the time is right, our paths will cross and we'll both realize we weren't waiting, we were preparing. And when that day comes, I promise I'll look at you and say, you were worth every single second. Because love like this doesn't arrive early or late. It shows up exactly when it's supposed to. And when it does, I won't just thank fate for bringing you to me. I'll thank time for making sure we met as the best versions of who we were always meant to become.